All right, so I believe we're live. So hopefully this goes a little smoother than yesterday. Hopefully my microphone isn't blown out. I have a couple of really good mics, but I'm kind of just doing this on the fly in different areas of the house for now, with my mic on my laptop. So hopefully it's not blown out today. If it is, I'm gonna have to just use my regular mic for doing podcasts and all that other stuff. So I'm just trying to this is a pre-day two. This isn't the official, free launch or day one of the actual mastermind. This is just me kind of getting used to doing these every day live, Monday through Friday. So that's really it. So I'm kind of doing some tests here, but hopefully, people will find out about this and join us. This is going to be a real deal mastermind, like I mentioned yesterday. I'm just kind of looking at what's going on my computer screen. Anyway, the mic is down here. So hopefully it isn't. Yesterday was like clipping out the audio with this mic, and I haven't had that problem. I mean, it's a pretty good laptop. Uh, so, yeah. And the video is a little blown out because of the sun. I got the sun coming through. The yard is right there. This is the studio. But anyway, this isn't about me and about my laptop. This is about you and introducing you to myself and to this community that I want to grow with this mastermind so that you can change what's going on in your life. Again, it's not about me, it's about you, because I need you. Because without you, there's no me, right? We need each other. So this mastermind is going to be pretty awesome. Um, and again, it's like what's going on in your life? What are your pain points? What are you working on? What do you need to get accomplished? Have you ever joined the mastermind before? These are all things we'll start going through in the next few days, week or so, once more people kind of come on here. But these are definitely, and I have a workbook, by the way. I didn't show you yesterday. Nobody really watched yesterday's because I rambled on a little bit, but I was really just kind of breaking down the minutia. I don't know if that's the right word of, kind of like the stuff that holds us back on the different levels, right? Like the physical, the mental, and the spiritual planes, the stuff that kind of holds us back and how to release that stuff so that we succeed, right? And all that stuff is covered in the mastermind and, in Think and Grow Rich and a lot of the books that we're going to get into here, But first off, this is an introduction, not me rambling, to the mastermind group. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read you the first paragraph and we're going to end it. And we're just going to continue to do it like that. So as we go forward, and then we'll discuss together as the group grows what we read, and then we can get into the different things. You know what I mean? Different talking points about what's holding us back, so on and so forth, as we go through the material. Because again, the material is the guide, and without the guide, it's like in recovery. There's the 12 steps. And it's a lot of people, not to equate this, but we all know people in recovery. I know a lot of people in recovery, and it's like the old thing. It's like people get into recovery and then they don't work the program, they don't work the steps, they don't get a sponsor, they don't, it's really just like a mastermind, to be honest, or like if you join an opportunity, it's really the same exact thing. I also equated to my graffiti growing up as a kid, starting off as a graffiti writer by myself, and I get into those stories another day. And I was really obsessed with graffiti as a kid. That's just my story. Don't take that the wrong way. But that's just how I was as a kid growing up in New York. I just was obsessed with graffiti. And I was practicing. I wasn't doing like tagging and bombing, as we call it, throw ups, which is just, hitting stuff like built everything. I wasn't into that. That's called bombing. I was into the art. That's just, I've always kind of been like an artist. So it's just my brain. I love the artwork. So I started practicing, but I didn't know nobody. It's just like you in your life or whatever opportunity, like you don't know anybody, right? So I started practicing and I went out and I started meeting these other graffiti artists in New York, around where I live, on the bridges and stuff like that. And then one day, like this famous graffiti artist came under there at that time. And everybody was like, oh, yo, and we were like all little kids, right? We're like, yo, check him. There he is. He happened to be Sent, who I'm very good friends with at this point. He's one of my like brothers in a certain sense. But anyway, very famous graffiti artist. And I became in that world pretty good, we'll leave it at that. But so all I say all that to say, like, I introduced myself to him, and he's like, "Get away from me, little redhead boy," you know what I mean? But little by little, just me practicing and doing my artwork on those walls underneath that bridge. One day, one of my other friends that I had met, I didn't know anybody. I started meeting these people. It's just like business opportunity. It's just like anything you're working on in life, right? You have to get out there. You have to communicate. You have to. And that's what this mastermind is really about, us creating this community so that we can, work on those things, right? So we learn how to do that and attract people into our life. So again, it's not about me, it's about you. But I'm telling you the story, applying it, maybe it's talking about myself, but I'm not really. I'm just talking about us and you and how you can apply these things with kind of like a story, right? Hopefully that makes sense. So the bottom line is one of my friends at that point that I met, he goes, "Yo, he likes your work, and this other dude likes your work. They say you're really good." I'm like, "Wow!" And that was like 6 months or a year later at that point. And all of a sudden, I started getting invited to the big graffiti events, which we'll leave there, but which was like a lot of other famous graffiti artists doing certain, trains and walls throughout, in my case, New York City. But that's just my story. That's where I grew up. So I'd be going out to Brooklyn or, different areas of the Bronx where I grew up, or Manhattan, or like underneath Central Park into the tunnels. There's tunnels underneath Central Park. We used to sneak down there, I think in the 70s. We used to go up by Columbia and hit handball courts. I mean, all over the city. So, but I got invited to those things. And I learned real quick that you couldn't get invited to those things. You couldn't just go. Like, you had to be invited. So that's how I learned about, this. So hopefully that all makes sense. Like, so you have to put yourself out there, right? So that you can create attraction to yourself, so that you get involved in a community, so that you can be invited and that you can invite others. And that's kind of the river of life with whatever we're working on. So enough about that. And I was talking about something else about recovery. It's the same thing. And we'll get into that another day, but it's the same as this mastermind. Like, it's the same as any business opportunity you're working on. So like, you get into recovery, and most people don't succeed in recovery, unfortunately. It is what it is, but it's terrible, to be honest, especially these days. And like, we know a lot of people that have passed, a lot of young people over the last few years, that it's horrible. And that's a story around the world. This is a mastermind. I don't want to be talking about that stuff, but the bottom line is people get into recovery and they kind of just, they're by themselves and they don't want to get involved. They don't want to interact. They don't want to do the work. Without works, it's dead. Faith without works is dead. You gotta have faith, all that other stuff. You gotta apply the tools. So it's the tools that we're going to learn in this. In my business opportunity that I'm in right now at Xcelerate Fuel Tabs, we're applying all these tools because our team has all these tools. So we're inviting people. I'm inviting people onto my team, and I'm sharing them with them all these tools. Like, hey, here's all these tools. Anyway, so it's the same with recovery. Like, people get in, they don't do nothing, they by themselves, and they end up going out and they relapse. Instead of, here's the tool, go get a sponsor, work with your sponsor, and then you go sponsor other people. It's like literally like any opportunity, right? But the sponsor is going to give you this. There's a book, there's a guide, whatever the guide is. Like, in your opportunity, you're going to have guides, right? In this mastermind, we have the guide, which is Think and Grow Rich, and then some other books we're going to get into. With Xcelerate Fuel Tabs, our team has guides to kind of take you through how to be successful, how to get into the community, right? So whatever it is you're working on, hopefully you have that. But, in recovery, you have like the 12 and 12, and you have the 12 steps, and there's other books, so on and so forth. We won't get into it. But those 12 steps, you want to go through those 12 steps. And as you go through those 12 steps, you change and you become successful in recovery. And finally, a miracle happens where you're in this community and you're in the middle of it, and you're not on the edge by yourself, kind of getting picked off and pulled out, and, bad things happening. You're in the middle of a community. You have a sponsor. You're working with, you're sponsoring other people, even if you're shy, even if you never talk to nobody. And then all of a sudden you have this guide and you're working through the steps, and all of a sudden your life starts to change and all your dreams start to come. It's the same as that with this mastermind. So hopefully that makes sense. It's kind of an abbreviated version of the whole recovery and graffiti thing, but it's all really the same thing. Now you can apply whatever it is in your life experience to the same thing. It's the same with work. It's the same with whatever you want to do. If you want to become a lawyer, it's the same thing. You get this. I want to become a lawyer, right? And then all of a sudden you start like, studying it. You get obsessed with it, right? And da 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 da. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. So you kind of want to get into that practice with, again, whatever opportunity or whatever affiliate marketing, or if you're not even here for e-commerce or crypto or whatever it is, whatever you're working on in your life, or you going to college, or you want to become a doctor, use this mastermind. That's what it's here for. It's here for everybody. It's really here to and work on yourself, because the most important thing in the world is you. You have to work on you, because without you, there is nothing else. You have to, like, I'm going to tell you one last story, and then I'm going to read a paragraph from the mastermind, just the first paragraph, and then we're going to do now I'm not going to do these ramblings again. This is the pre stuff, so I'm doing a little bit of rambling. I'm getting used to this, but again, it's going to be very clean and cut. We're going to get into this. We're going to read it's a meeting's going to start at 10 a.m. It might be 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm still on the fence about that because I've been up since 6, and I'm like, I should have started this thing at 8. But we'll figure it out. But it's going to be consistent once it starts on Monday, every day, Monday to Friday, Eastern Standard Time. And and it's going to be like a meeting. It's going to be, we come in on time, and the thing starts here on YouTube live. We'll have the chats. We'll even get phones going. If the thing grows, we'll figure it out. We'll start communicating. We'll get some other people in here to help me, because I definitely need help, doing this thing. And it's going to be awesome. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to laugh. Hopefully we're not going to cry, but any good movie will make you laugh and cry, right? And this is a game. This is a game of life, and this is our life, right? So, but again, it's going to be clean. We're going to come in here. We're going to get right into the material, read a paragraph or a page or whatever, and then open it up. And then we're going to have questions, and then we're going to get into that for about 15, 20 minutes, up to a half hour. And then, we'll have some stuff that we have to work on. Our minds will be right. And excuse me. And then we're going to go forward through the day and then work on whatever you're working on, right? Apply this material. That's why we're doing it in the mornings. And if you don't make it live, you come in when you get up the next morning, if you're in Asia or whatever you are, right? Because I know, like, my wife's from Japan, so like it's always, she's here. But one of my good friends is in Japan too. He's a big time super affiliate that I talk to. And, he's always like 12 hours ahead, or 13 hours ahead now, actually. Anyway, so you guys know the deal. But if you can't make it live, you come on, like, whenever it makes, when you get up in the morning and work on your stuff. Okay, enough rambling there. I kind of just went, I was going to say something else, and I kind of went on that. I was saying something, and I don't know what it is or was or whatever. But that's fine. I left something open there, and I don't remember what it is, and now it's like bothering me. Like, finish it up. But anyway, the bottom line is just us coming in here. It's going to be clean. We're going to go through the material. It's going to be boom, 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 like I just explained. So I'm explaining it all over again. Again, I apologize. This is me just kind of getting going. But everything will be laid out perfect, nice and clean cut. Material, discuss it, talk about it, end it. I'm going to have live stream after it with my opportunity. You guys, if you have to go do your thing, whatever, you know what I mean? And then that's it. And invite people to this. And, I'm not going to be pitching anything on these, it's just having a mastermind. So anybody on my team already, you're more than welcome to come join this. Of course, I haven't really put it out to anybody yet. All right. So I apologize because I did leave something open there and I forget what it was. So no big deal. Anyway, so this is from Think and Grow Rich, and we're just going to get into it. And I want to start with the mastermind. I know that's like chapter 10, but then we're going to go back to the beginning of the book. But actually, like I said yesterday, we're going to start with we're going to go through the mastermind, what it is, the nuggets, breaking it down, the benefits of it, why we should do it, why we should have it so that we can change all that, blah, 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 blah. And this is the one that you've been looking for maybe your whole life. This is what this is going to be. It's going to be freaking awesome. And then what's going to happen is, excuse me. What's going to happen is, sorry for the helicopter. what's going to happen is let me get a sip of coffee. Excuse me, guys. Anyway, what's going to happen is I'm going to read this, and we're going to go through this whole chapter in the Mastermind, and we're going to do it very quickly. Again, we're going to read it together. We're going to break it down. Then after that, I'm going to go into the interview, like I mentioned yesterday, between Carnegie, the secret interview. I have the book between Carnegie and like I said, I have a workbook of Think and Grow Rich where we'll have material to do homework. If you want to do that, you don't have to do that. But the conversation I have between Carnegie and Hill is like a secret book that it's not secret, but nobody really talks about it. Nobody knows about it. I have the book, and we're going to read 2 chapters in that book that Carnegie says you have to read these 2 chapters because they're the game changer. It's going to put everything together with all this material. Once we read those 2, we'll have an awesome base foundation. Then we're going to come back and we're going to rip through Think and Grow Rich, and then we'll get into the other books. But in the middle of that, like early on, we're gonna do just one day of the little red book so that we can get our goals down right off the bat, so that you can list your 2-3 different goals, and that book will show you how to list those goals and how to focus on those goals all day long, whatever you're working on, so that those things can be attracted into your life, right? So hopefully that all makes sense. So here's the power of the Mastermind, the driving force, the 9th step to riches. Power is essential for success in the accumulation of money. Plans are inert and useless without sufficient power to translate them into action. This chapter will describe the method by which an individual may attain and apply power. Power may be defined as an organized and intelligently directed knowledge. Power, as the term is used, refers to organized effort sufficient to enable an individual to transmute desire into monetary equivalent. Organized effort is produced through the coordination of effort of 2 or more people who work toward a definite end in a spirit of harmony. Power is required for the accumulation of money. Power is necessary for the retention of money after it has been accumulated. Let us ascertain how power may be acquired. If power is organized knowledge, let us examine the sources of knowledge. 1. Infinite intelligence. This source of knowledge may be contacted through the procedure described in Chapter 6 with the aid of creative imagination. So when we go through this for real, we're going to go back into that, and we're going to read that like little piece of that so that we have a good understanding of that. Now, actually, I'll do that tomorrow. Okay. So accumulated experience is number 2, experiment with research, and it goes on. And that's kind of the first part there. Then gaining power through the Mastermind. So we're going to go through it. That's a little taste of what we're going to be doing. I rambled a little bit in the beginning of this, but again, I'm just kind of getting used to it and setting things up and setting the stage, as we say. I keep saying it, and I'll say it again. It's not going to be me rambling. This is going to be us getting started on time. It's probably 10, maybe 9, it may be 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but it's going to be consistent once it's set in stone by Monday, this Monday coming, which, wait a minute, maybe July 4th, so that might be a bad idea. When is July 4th? July 4th, that just hit me. July 4th is Monday. Wow, I didn't realize that. So we're going to start it on Tuesday, July 5th is we're going to start this. So July 5th, Tuesday, is when we will start this. But this is Thursday. I'm going to do this again tomorrow, this rambling session. And then for real, by tomorrow, I'll let you know the time on Tuesday. So it will be either 8 a.m., 9 a.m., or 10 a.m. And once it starts on Tuesday, it's going to be right into the material like I just read. Then we're going to discuss it. We're going to apply it. We're going to work on it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get our heads right so that we work on whatever we're working on. And then that's it. And then we come back the next day. So it's all about, because without what do they say? Like the the right mental attitude, the positive mental attitude. Without that focus, you got to have blinders on, like the horse, right? Or horses. You got to be able to, focus on whatever it is that you're doing and let go of all the distraction. And that's what this is. So enough from me. That's a little taste. Tomorrow we'll do another little bit. And then for real, it starts on Tuesday. My name is Eddie McGuire. I'm going to jump on. I'm going to do another live right now for Xcelerate Fuel Tabs. You're more than welcome to join me there. But I won't be like this mastermind will be its own thing for anybody who wants to come in. And obviously, if you're looking for other opportunities, you're more than welcome to join me on those. But this mastermind, I won't be mentioning that in here. So it's just really about working on whatever you're working on. I'm just like so obsessed with working on that right now. That's all I'm doing 24/7 is building our team, helping Malcolm. So yeah, it's been a lot of work. Sorry, I'm like, I literally haven't been sleeping much, but it's been amazing because we're in like this new launch and it's an amazing product and incredible, affiliate, insane commission, like it's just game changer. So anyway, enough rambling. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Mastermind. Peace.